Hello, hello, blessings, blessings, and welcome to Empowering Wives. This is my broadcast for today. I'm just giving YouTube a chance to let my subscribers know that I am on. Thank you for joining me. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Hey, 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 you guys. Thank you for joining. Welcome, welcome. God bless you. I see you guys coming on. Hello, hello. Hey, hey, hey. Thank you for joining me today. Let me know in the chat where you are coming from. Let me know where you are coming from. Let me know where you are tuning in from. God bless you. Thank you for joining me today. Signing in from Georgia. Hello, Georgia. My son is in Georgia today on a college tour. Hello, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. God bless you. Glad to see you on. Well, we have South Carolina. Hello, hello. St. Lucia is in the house. Hey, St. Lucia, welcome. We have Texas is in the house. God bless you. Welcome on today. Hello, hello. If this is your first time, let me know if this is your first time catching me live. Hello, hello. Glad to have you guys on today. God bless you. Welcome. Hello, hello. Welcome on, you guys. Blessings, blessings. This is the holiday season. I hope that you guys are embracing the springing into action. Hello, hello. First time on. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for joining me for the first time. God bless you. Greetings from Mississippi. Hello, Mississippi. Thank you for joining me. I recognize some of the names that often join me on my lives. Welcome, welcome. Oh, first time on live, but always watching my videos. Thank you for tuning into my videos. I hope they've been a blessing. I'm glad to see that they're encouraging you. God bless you. So today, you guys, we're going to be talking about overcoming fear and building courage. Overcoming fear and building courage. But before we get on to that, I want to invite you guys, if you have not gotten the invitation already, to join me for my upcoming webinar. It's called Fight for Your Marriage Like a Gladiator. It was scheduled for March 30th, but you guys, due to the holiday season, I have rescheduled it for April 6th. So if you have wanted to join, but the timing wasn't right, I have rescheduled it to April 6th. I will be dropping the link for you guys to register when I'm done with the broadcast in the description bar. So make sure you guys take and register for that upcoming webinar. This webinar is where we'll be exploring the essential elements needed to fight for your marriage, drawing inspiration from the biblical principles of war and the characteristics of ancient gladiators. Okay, let me tell you something is going to be very interesting. Even as I have been preparing the webinar, I was so encouraged. I was like, I think when I'm done it, I'm not going to like change the webinar. I'm just going to continue to do this particular webinar because I see where it just so much things that I've been talking about over the years. As it pertains to fight for your marriage, I see that so many things were like parallel in comparison to a gladiator, and things that we need as wives, not only to overcome challenges in your marriage, but I see so many like life skills that we need to draw from, because the reason why many of us are having challenges in fighting for your marriage now that you're at this point where you're fighting for your marriage is because of things that we have developed over the years as a child, teenager, adult. There are some things that contributed to the fear or the issues that we're having, the challenges that we're having fighting for your marriage. So as you go into this journey, and some of you have already been on the journey, you need to know what was expected of you, and you need to know what is expected of this journey. So in today's video, you guys, overcoming fear and building courage. Okay, We're going to be addressing the common fears and challenges wives face while fighting for their marriage. And then I'm going to provide biblical principles and practical strategies for you to overcome fear and build courage in the face of adversity. Anybody needs some courage? Anybody dealing with fear? Just let me know. Hey, woman of God, I need to deal with this fear. Okay? Let me tell you something. I remember recalling some time ago, a classmate of mine she had announced that she had gotten married, right? And let me tell you all something. This is the time that I was going through, right? This is the time that I was going through. And, everybody was saying, hey, congratulations. I pray many blessings, and here I come. I said, I pray for her strength and her courage. Let me tell you something. I didn't even remember that I did that, until I was thinking about, what I'm going to talk about today and getting my notes on this topic. So I said, I pray for your strength and your courage. All right. Because whether you believe it or not, marriage is under attack, right? And it's not because of you, it's not because of your husband. The institution of marriage is under attack. And some people feel as if, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna stick this out. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Probably I'm just going to let this go. Let me tell you something. You let this go and go into another one. It's going to be the same challenge. All right. I've encountered many wives who on their second marriage, on their third marriage, and when I counsel or coach, I say, well, hey, what happened to the last marriage? Let me tell you all something. If not 99% of the people tell me, well, my first marriage, I dealt with infidelity, and I thought, or I didn't know any better, so I didn't fight for that marriage. Now here I am facing this again. Now I know that you guys don't want to go through all this trouble, right? And think that divorce is a solution, end up in another marriage, and then having to face this again. Okay? Nobody wants that. Nobody say, hey, I'm going to, this is the solution, and then, you end up in the same problem. Nobody looking forward to that. But here is what you need to do, you guys. You guys need to enjoy your process. You have to overcome fear, and you have to build courage, because the Bible says, do not grow weary in doing good. For in due season you shall reap if you faint not. The reason why we're fainting, the reason why we are giving up is because of many of the fears that we encounter. Okay, many of the fears that you encounter along the way. And what you're doing, you're trying to build a protection because of the fear, right? If you're in fear that someone is going to break in your house, what you're going to do, you're probably going to add extra security, lock the house up some more. You're going to probably provide cameras. This is a barrier that you're going to put up to make sure you're protecting yourself against these fears, right? Some of the fears that we go through, one, fear of rejection, right? So now you're married, you're with your husband, and you're fighting for your marriage, but what happened? You're fearing that, hey, after all this I'm going through, I'm still going to be rejected, right? What is fear? Anybody know what is fear? False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. That's fear. And what happened is, you guys, fear will cripple you, right? I don't know if you guys saw a couple of videos that I did, I don't know. Recently, I did a video talking about, dealing with my husband's son from infidelity, and I was just, look here, having a near panic attack because I was in fear of right? Because I was worrying. I was in fear of how my husband would deal with two of, his child and my child having, athletic activities together. And let me tell y'all something. I was near at a panic attack. But let me tell you something. The thing that I feared wasn't even a reality. It wasn't even a reality. And let me tell y'all something, just an update. They had track meet, for those of you who don't know, and probably go back and check my videos. They have track meet, right? And two of, my husband, my bonus son and my son, they have event at the same time. And I had a fear in the past, what are we gonna do? What my husband's gonna do? How's he gonna react? He's gonna go to his son on and reject my son and all this stuff, going on. One of the things, my son didn't even have to, my husband didn't even go to none of them, okay, because he was working. I was the one that was in attendance. And let me tell you what I did. Even though the meets were at the same day, they weren't at the same time. So I was like, okay, let me go here. When this finished, let me go here. So I was back and forth. So, and it wasn't even a horrible thing. I enjoy being back and forth to two events. Hey, text me when you're up. Text me, so it wasn't even an issue. So we're having this, okay, I'm going to fight for my marriage, but what if my husband don't love me anymore? He said that he loved the other woman. He's not in love. Let me tell you something. You have to ignore, this fear of rejection. You have to ignore it, because the only reason why that fear exists is because it wants to stop you from overcoming. It wants to stop you from progressing. It wants to stop you from getting what God has for you, right? Christ came that we may have life and that more abundantly. So we know that if Christ came that we may have life and that more abundantly, we can be assured that when we fight, it's not going to be in vain. But here is the thing. When we fight, the Bible says, although we are in this world, we don't fight like the world does. So now it's okay, let me get the strategies according to the kingdom so that I can properly, have the backing, of the Lord, the God of hosts, the captain of the army of angels on my side, so that I can be assured victory, right? So let me tell you all something. Fear of rejection. Let me tell you something. And abandonment. If you fear it, you're gonna have it's gonna wreck you. It's gonna wreck you. Let me tell you all something. Let me tell you guys a fear that I have had, because I don't have it anymore. I was, on Facebook, and I've been seeing a lot of people lose their husbands, people announcing that their husband died, and that raised up a fear in me, right? So now here it is. I'm kind of spoiled, you guys, okay? I'm kind of spoiled. My husband takes care of everything, all right? I mean, the house note, the light, the light, the cable, the phone. My husband takes care of everything, right? So as I was looking at these people talk about, they lost their husband, I started thinking, if I lose my husband, I will be so screwed. Like, I don't know how to pay the rent. I mean, I know how to pay the rent, but, I don't know that I can't tell you the last time that I worried or thought about, hey, let me go get a the check for the I can't tell you the last time I did that. I can't tell you the last time I logged on to the phone company and took care of the bill. Okay, now I do know how to deal with the grocery. I do that all the time, but everything else I don't do that. My husband takes care of all that. So I had a fear of, what if my husband dies? What am I gonna do? And this thing was giving me anxiety. So I had to deal with that fear. I mean, and when I was dealing with this fear, my husband wasn't even sick. I was just seeing a lot of people lose their husbands. So let me tell you what I did. Instead of worrying about the worst, I said, you know what? I asked my husband, and I shared with him the fear that I had. And I told him, hey, I just need to know, okay, how do you pay the phone bill? How do you pay the light bill? Where is the account information? I just needed to have that information so that I could deal with this fear. And let me tell you all something. When I got all that information, I knew what is what. The fear went away. So you can't run from it. You have to address it. You have to face it head on. You can't allow these things that you're worrying about to sit and live rent free in your head. You can't be worrying, oh my God, what if my husband leaves me? And don't worry about that. All you worry about and have this picture in your mind, what you want to see. Y'all know I always talk about, I think it's Philippians 4:8. Finally, brothers, whatever, think about, whatever things that are noble, whatever things that are pure, whatever things are good report, think on these things. Right? This is what you got to keep. You have to keep your mind on track. Another fear that a lot of people deal with when fighting for their marriage is the fear of failure. Right? What if I go through all of this and I still end up with nothing? What if? What if? Anybody? Right? This fear is stopping you from embracing and learning a lot of things that you need to learn in this season. Right? This is stopping you. This is hindering you. This is hindering your progress. Let me tell you all something. Probably about a month ago, I was remembering this here, you guys. Look at this. This is a Bible, right? But I got this Bible at a Dr. Miles Monroe leadership conference, okay? At a leadership conference. And mind you, when I was at that conference, I was at the peak of what I was going through. Like, I just found out probably about 2 months prior of my husband's infidelity, okay? Then I was at a leadership conference because of my church, and like I told you all before, I was a youth pastor. So the church sent me to this conference, right? So a couple of months ago, the Lord reminded me of, while I was facing infidelity in my marriage, what was I doing? What was he doing in my life? Because, a lot of times we take things and moments of like just chance, right? But let me tell you something. Every step of the way is a strategic placement by God. And I was in that leadership conference at the peak of dealing with infidelity for a purpose. Okay? And I was thinking about this a couple months ago because a lot of the things that I learned, like, look here, these things are helping me today. These things are helping me help many of you. The strategies that I learned at a leadership conference when I was in the peak of dealing with infidelity in my marriage, I was learning about leadership. Like, I was like, wow, Lord. If it was up to me, I probably would not have done it, right? While you're going through what you're going through, there are things that you need to learn. Okay, there are things that you need to learn along the way, and this is the ideal time for you to learn the things that you need to learn. So you can't be focused on failure, but you have to focus on success, right? You have to focus on what you can learn from this process in this season at this time. Because there are things that you're going to learn during this time, during a season, that you won't learn if you were on the mountaintop. You won't learn it if things were great and things were good. You wouldn't even be paying attention. A lot of things that you guys are learning now, like faith and things on prayer and spiritual warfare and understanding how the enemy. Y'all would not have been learning these things had you not been going through what you're going through right now. Amen? Am I telling the truth? Am I telling the truth, you guys? Because there were a lot of things that I learned while I was going through. And I'm like, wow, it caused me, right? I think God got my attention during that season. So it caused me now to press into some things that I would not have been interested in, right? Had I not been going through what I'm going through, right? I would not be seeking certain things. I would not be educating myself in certain areas had I not been going through what I was going through. So this is a very vital time for you. God got your attention. And instead of you just begging, oh God, take me out, Lord, stop this. You have to ask God, Lord, see me through. Right? That's why you got to, Lord, give me the courage. Lord, give me the courage to endure. Lord, give me the strength to go through this thing that I'm going through. Right? So if you have a fear of failure, failure may be your portion because that's what you're focused on. You can't focus on what if it don't work. You gotta focus on, oh, this gonna work. Let me tell you all this this testimony, and I said it before, but there was, moving to America was very difficult. Being a foreigner coming to America was not easy, okay? But my husband and his family lived here before. He lived here before when he was younger. I was always an island girl, all right? Let me tell you all something. Driving on the roads used to freak me out, okay? In the Bahamas, there are two lanes, one going and one coming, okay? And so when I moved here to America, like I used to see me crashing all the time. Like in my mind, like switching lanes, it freaked me out, okay? Let me tell y'all something. I would not drive. Okay, I would not drive. I could have drive, but I would not drive. I would not get behind the wheel because I had a fear. I had a fear of not getting it right, not understanding how to change lanes, not understanding the traffic. I had a fear of failure. But let me tell you something. I started to do little driving distance at a time. Like I would probably go to Walmart, and Walmart was always in the driving, close distance to my house, or drive to the kids' school. That was always close, but I never ventured out. I never got on the highway. But let me tell you something. That fear of driving got smashed by me driving. Okay, 2017. I'm having this marriage conference. I'm having people coming, from everywhere. I'm doing, my husband is doing pickups, from like the airport. And this one time, my husband could not do the pickup. And my husband said, honey, you need to do this pickup. And I'm like, what? Listen here. My heart was beating out of my chest. Like you could really see it coming out of my chest. And hello, you all had me, I say 2017. This was right around the corner. I talking about ancient time ago, okay? And so anyways, I was afraid, right? And I believe like one of the wives, she's like, Meltoria, I think it was Sakina. She said, you can do it, Meltoria. She didn't know exactly the extent of my fear, right? I just say, I don't know if I can do this. And let me tell you something. My husband said, honey, you can do it. So the whole time, she talking and I just trying to stay on the road. I got my two hands on the wheel and I ain't doing no bunch of, going cross and all that stuff. I stayed basically on one side. But let me tell you something. It was the beginning of that was the beginning of the moment getting rid of the fear of failure. Okay, that was the beginning of a very beautiful moment. Because listen here, now a couple of years ago, probably 2 years ago, okay, so now I had a fear of driving, right? So my husband made me get behind the wheel, like I really needed to do this pickup, and so I didn't have a problem driving on the highway anymore. Now I had this other fear. I had a fear of driving long distance. Let me tell you something. The Bible said the Lord is not giving you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Okay, so in my mind, you guys, this is why it's important. You got to keep your mind right? In my mind, I always said, I don't know how y'all drive long distance. I'll probably fall asleep, right, on the road. This is what I said. I'll probably fall asleep, and I could see me falling asleep because there's no way I could drive 3-4 hours. No way. Let me tell you something. My husband decided to do something, and he's like, honey, I need you to drive with me. What? No problem. Hour here, I no problem. Now, he gotta go this long distance. And I'm thinking, okay, how long we gotta go? 4 hours. Okay, 4 hours. You want me to drive 4 hours? I can't drive 4 hours. I said, yeah, you drive 4 hours. That ain't no problem. Listen here. In my mind, I was having a panic attack, anxiety, everything was going on. But listen here, I drive 4 hours like nothing. Okay? You cannot, and I did a video a couple weeks ago, stop fearing the worst. Okay? I had a fear that first of all it's fear driving, then it said can't drive long distance. I drive 4 hours, you guys. Okay? 4 hours. No problem. It was like nothing. Okay, then I drive 7 hours. You know, I drive two, and my husband drive back 7 hours. No problem. Okay, let me tell you something. Again, the Lord has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You have to stop looking at yourself. You have to stop looking at this situation and already stamping failure on it, right? Because what if it works? What if what you did works? What if, right? Think about the positive aspect of it. When I was going through and when I was fighting for my marriage, you guys, I only looked at the result that I wanted. Okay? I only looked at the end result that I needed to happen because this is what I believe in God for. I didn't look at what if it don't work? What if my family get break? What if my husband leave me? What if I didn't look at that? There's one side to look on, you guys. If you are believers, if you believe God, if you believe that God is able, you gotta only look at one side. Some people say, you know, we gotta be practical. You know, we gotta be reasonable. Let me tell you something. All of this is faithless talk. Because the Bible says with God, all things are possible. Okay, and all things are possible to them that believe. Another fear that people have when they're going through is fear of judgment. Right? Shame, embarrassment. Come on now. Oh, look how you look. You ain't got to go through this. You look like a fool. Many of you, your whole everything, where how you progress is because you worry about how people look at you. Oh, what my mommy say, what my daddy say, how this look, how the church. Let me tell you something. I have dealt with a situation. Oh, everything was worrying about what it looked like with the church. Oh my gosh. Oh, but how does the church look at us? What? What? You worrying but how people look at you? Now, let me tell you something. When I was going through, I was embarrassed too. I was shamed. Y'all, for those of you who've been with me for a long time, y'all know the story. I live in a tiny island in the Bahamas. Everybody knows everybody. Some of y'all don't even, all y'all know is your husband cheating. Y'all ain't even never see the other woman. I used to see the other woman every other day. Okay? And if I go somewhere in the food store where I got to go, I would see her. Okay? When I go to a function, okay, because we go out, I would see her. She got a big belly, parading, dressed up, and carrying my husband's child. So I could tell you all about shame and embarrassment. The fear of judgment. I know they think I crazy. Because guess what? Me and my husband together with the two little kids, while the other woman in the same function. I know about shame and embarrassment. I know about worrying about what people think. People are going, whether you be successful in this or not, people are going to have something to say. You can't worry about that. Right? You can't worry about that. Let me tell you why you can't worry about that. Because when you see, I started testifying about the goodness of God. The first time, this was like 2016. And I was so worried about doing that because, tell the story, people know me and all this stuff like that. Let me tell you something. You know how much people that I walked embarrassed in the front of inbox me and tell me how I motivated them? Are y'all hearing me? I ain't people talk about I ain't talking about people who don't know me. I talking about people who I was embarrassed in the front of. Okay? Meltoria, you motivate me. You encourage me. You inspire me. I'm telling you, the people who are inboxing me, why you think you's the only one would get problems? They get problems too. You just don't see their problems. Okay? So let me tell you something. Fear of judgment. So you have these fears, right, that is crippling you. You have these fears that are stopping you from moving and, being strong and courageous. But you have to overcome them, right? Let me tell you something. I want to give you all some ideas on what you have to focus on in order to overcome these fears. The fears are going to be there. I didn't say get rid of them. I said overcome them. Because like the driving situation, I had to face it. Yeah, so you're going to have that walk of fame, a walk of shame. You're going to have that walk of embarrassment. But then that's just a season in your life that you have to go through. You may be embarrassed today, but be on the pedestal tomorrow, where God is displaying you and showing, your life an example of his word. When we say that God is able, and where the scriptures say he is able, God is showing you're the example of his ability. Here's what you got to do. To overcome fear and be courageous, you got to trust in God's plan. You got to trust in God's plan. You have to surrender to control to the Lord. You can't trust in what you see. You can't trust in what your husband say. You can't trust in what the church, even some of the church people, right? You can't trust in that. You can't trust in your parents and what they say and what they think and how it looked to them. The Bible says in Proverbs 3:5, it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. He will show you the way that you need to go. And let me tell you something. As we know, the Bible said all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So you could rest assured that if I am trusting in God, God gonna make sure that everything works out for my good. You gotta trust in God's plan. When you trust in God's plan, all these fears, you're gonna become giants to fear. Okay? You gotta seek guidance through prayer. You gotta be prayerful about everything. Right? Seek comfort and strength through prayer, asking God for wisdom and guidance. You guys, if you have not gotten a copy of my prayer ebook, it's going to be linked in the description bar. Make sure that you get a copy of that, okay? That's important because you guys, we have a perspective of prayer that has caused us to be hopeless with prayer because we don't understand prayer. Okay, so I want to help you understand prayer so you could know how to approach prayer from a different perspective. Okay, Philippians 4:6-7, it says this: be anxious for nothing. See, is words like nothing that is the most important thing in the whole scripture. Because see, some of y'all get barriers and borders placed around God's ability. He said, be anxious for nothing, but by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, make your requests known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and mind through Christ. Are you all hearing me today? What is your problem? Father, I present this issue to you today. Lord, I surrender the trouble of this man. I give it to you, Lord. And what's going to happen? The peace of God. The reason why some of you are so up on rest and anxious because you don't got the peace of God. Why you don't have the peace of God? Because you is surrender your problem by supplication and prayer with thanksgiving to the Lord. And so what happened? You wake up every day worrying, go to sleep worrying. Monday you're worrying, Tuesday you're worrying, Wednesday you're worrying, Sunday you're worrying, worry. That worrying turned from couple hours to days to weeks to months to years, and you're still worrying. What y'all need to be worrying about is finding out where you have your weakness. If you have a weakness in prayer, instead of focusing on your marriage infidelity and the issue, let me learn how to pray. Focus on that. When you focus on that, that becomes the bigger idea in your mind, and this issue that you're facing becomes smaller, and it shrinks it, because why? You ain't focusing on that. All right, am I making sense today, you guys? I see you all commenting, but let me get through this and then I can try to go through the comments. Okay, now here is something that you gotta, along this journey, you gotta embrace forgiveness, right? Let me tell you something. I know some of y'all in the peak of what you're going through. You're mad at your husband. You're mad at the other woman. You're mad at your in-laws. You're mad at your husband's friends. You're mad at everybody. Let me tell you something. Forgive them. Okay? Forgive them. Your husband lied. You forgive him again. Oh, woman of God, how long I can keep on forgiving him? The Bible says we must forgive 70 times 7. If y'all want count it, count it. Okay? This can help some of y'all, because y'all be out here, you know, I don't want to think it's okay, and I'm not holding him accountable for, for his lies. Excuse me, who made you judge and jury? You don't need to hold your husband accountable for nothing. Leave that to God. Forgive him. Every time he come to you and tell you some lame lie, you know it's a lie. Forgive him. 70 times 7. Some of y'all need to count it. You ain't gonna never measure up. I'm telling you. Okay? Forgive him. Every time the other woman come to your mind, to your heart, she messing with your husband. Why is she doing this and who she is? Forgive her. Okay? Here is why it's important. Matthew 18:34 and 35 says this. And the Lord was wroth and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due to him. So likewise shall my heavenly Father also do unto you, if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his own brother that trespass. See, when you don't forgive, right, you are given over the tormentors, the tormenting spirit. This is why it's important to forgive. People out here got you all thinking that y'all must play judge and jury, right? And you thinking that you forgiving your husband for what he is actively doing is giving him some green light to say, if I forgive him, I'm making him think that it's okay what he doing. Hello, he didn't need your green light to do it in the first place. Okay, are you all hearing me? He didn't need your agreement in the first place. Why do you think he needs your agreement now that you find out what's going on? So you ain't out here forgiving him and letting him think it's okay. He don't need your agreement. Okay? What you're doing is you are freeing your heart. You are freeing your mind. You are keeping lines of communication between you and God open. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. And you don't want nobody to block that. You need that open. You don't need your husband to block that. You don't need the other woman to block that. You don't need your in-laws to block that. You don't need his friends to block that. You don't need nobody to block your line of communication with God. Forgiveness is not for the other people. It's for you. You're the benefactor of forgiveness. Do y'all know that? So yeah, let him go lying through his nose and through his tongue all day, every day. Forgive him. Right? You gotta forgive. Now here are some things that moving forward, you guys, you gotta do. Now, because you are overcoming fear, right? And you are building courage. Some people feel as if because they're fighting for their marriage, all of a sudden you're a doormat. Your husband can do what he want to, say what he wants to say, and you just, because you save and you believe in God, you're a doormat. No, you got to set boundaries, okay? You got to set limitations. Let me tell you all something. I remember setting a boundary. I tell my husband, look here, if you do this again, because see now, my husband was physical. My husband wasn't only verbally abusive. My husband was physically abusive. And there comes a time when I had to put my foot down. I said, my mother was a battered woman. I'll be damned if I be a battered wife. I said, if you lay your hands on me one more time, when I walk out that door, I ain't looking back. That time, I just swore to my husband. My husband is big. What I was going to do, I don't know. But do it again. One thing that I tell you guys, and I probably haven't said this in a long time, standing for your marriage does not mean that you have to endure abuse. Why you're scared to leave? Because you're standing for your marriage. There is no distance in the spirit. You ain't helping God by staying around and getting abused. You ain't helping God. You could be right around the corner in the next neighborhood praying, fasting, worshiping, believing, speaking in faith. Are you all hearing me? So if you're in a place where you're enduring physical abuse, you don't have to stick around and deal with that just because you're standing for your marriage. Let him come home one day and the locks change. Are you all hearing me? Build the courage to get your down payment together. If you can't leave the place where you are, go and find the next place. Get courage to build up your down payment, and one day he come home and you ain't there. And some of y'all don't know, I had to leave my husband. My husband almost, listen here, my husband, I almost get choked to death. See, some of y'all don't understand. Some of y'all don't understand what I really been through. Because you see me come up on here on YouTube and just having, all this revelation knowledge, y'all really don't understand what I gone through. Some of y'all, some of y'all take it lightly that I am here to be able to talk to you and to give you counsel on how to fight for your marriage, because you don't know the extent of what I gone through. My husband there took my life. And I mean, some of y'all, this is too much for me to take. I don't know if I can take it. I feel like I can. No, I'm talking about like physically almost take my life. I know I'm overwhelmed with what I was going through. Physically almost take my life. Okay? So when I talk, to see it from what I hear say, that's what I've been through. When I tell y'all what y'all could overcome, to see it because I just trying to pump and prime you. I ain't trying to pump and prime y'all for nothing. I'm telling y'all could make it true. Okay? Anyhow, y'all done caused me to get a little emotional. Okay? So what I did was, when my husband almost take my life, my husband was choking me so much. Hands are, I was even smaller than what I is now. I was like in a size 0. Okay, I am 12 now. right? I was size 0, and my husband was big and husky and strong, right? And he choking me out, and I'm like, Lord, is this how I'm going to die? I thought I was going to die, all right? But let me tell you all something. That didn't know I was going to die because that in the plan of the Lord. So what happened was, I said, you know what, I leaving. So I don't know if it was the day after, whatever, but let me tell you something. I had a plan going on in my head. And when my husband came home one day, I was packed up and gone. I ain't saying nothing. And let me tell you something. When I was packing up and going, because we were living with my in-laws at the time, I was even leaving the children. Because I don't know about y'all listen, I don't know about y'all. My husband, he's listening, he ain't let me take his children, and I was okay with that because they boys need their father anyhow. So I was leaving the children. My oldest son was like, But anyhow, that is off topic. Listen here, courage. Some of y'all need to grow some backbone. Stop being around here complaining about, I don't know if I can take this. I don't know. Oh, he talk about me. Oh, he say this about me. Listen here. Y'all can get it through. This is why you got to be in prayer. This is why you got to be fasting. This is why you got to be meditating, because you have to build your spirit man. Remember, you guys, I told you a couple of weeks ago, in order to be able to handle you standing for your marriage, you got to have a strong spirit. Because the things like these, God ain't going to take you out, but he going to see you through. The psalmist says, yea, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, because thou art with me. He ain't going to take, listen here, I want y'all to hear me. For those of you who are on live, on the replay, y'all stop begging God to take y'all out. God ain't taking you out. He will see you through, okay? Support. You need support on this journey. One of the most, I thank God for my pastor at the time. Okay, that was my support system. And even though he knew the depths of what I was going through, he never told me to leave your husband, never encouraged me to divorce. He always said, your decision. Even when I left, right? He said, now, Sister Meltoria, I know you leaving, and I know this is why you leaving. But don't let nobody tell you, don't go back to your husband. Do all this. If you feel you need to go back, you go back. Don't let nobody pressure you. That's what he told me. Do y'all need support system that's going to support you in your journey? You only need nobody encouraging y'all to sway y'all either way. You have to have your mind made up, and then you need support to give you support in this journey. That's why I provide counsel. I provide counsel and coaching. Some of y'all need counsel. Y'all need wise counsel. Why you ain't booked the counsel yet on www.empoweringwise.com? I don't know, but it's up to you. If you need advice, if you need counsel, schedule counsel, okay? Support. You need support in this season, because there are times when you're going to think or feel certain things are right and they are wrong. Remember, I said earlier, although we live in this world, we don't fight like the world does. The way we handle things are very different. The way we are supposed to approach things are very different. Like I said, forgive. Yeah, your husband actively lying, and you know he lied, and he always lied, and he said to don't stop lying. You still forgive him, knowing he lied. I told y'all before, a couple of my videos ago, I said, listen here, in this particular season that I was in, I already know my husband was lying. It don't make no sense me looking at him like he telling the truth in this season, and I know he always lying. As simple as paying the electric bill. And my husband at the time, he had this habit of gambling. He said he gonna pay the electric bill. I don't know if he gonna pay the electric bill or not. Let me check. Okay, no problem. You gonna pay the electric bill? Hey, I called on the electric company, just checking to see what my electric bill is. Hey, my husband's supposed to go pay a $250 light bill. Hey, honey, you pay it? Yeah, I pay it. I call electric company. Hey, just check the bill is $250. I'm mad. why I get mad and I know he's lying. You see how you be causing yourself unrest? Some of y'all know your husband lying in this season. And then when you catch him in a lie, he lying. Are you serious? Am I helping somebody today? Anyhow, let me wrap this up. Anyhow, another thing you guys need to do to make sure that you strategy to build courage. Listen here, y'all gotta start taking care of yourself. You have to start taking care of yourself. Self-care. Self-care. How many of you are taking care of yourself in this season? Sometimes I don't know what make you all feel good. I don't know. I like to get my nails, but not now. I don't really like to get my nails done now. I don't know. I just don't like sitting up in the salon. I don't like do it. You know, I got other things that I could spend $60 on. I just have a different perspective now. So that's me, right? But back then, I liked my nails done. I liked my hair done. I liked my toes done. Listen here, it made me feel good. Some of y'all, even if you might say, hey, I ain't a nails person. Be a nails person. Go to the spa, the salon, and pamper yourself once a month, at least. Hey, I ain't a lash person. Look here, try lashes. But you have to cater to yourself. Because see, now that you're going through what you're going through, everything is like heightened. All the attention that you never care for now, you won't try care for now that you're going through. You gotta be provide that provider for yourself. Okay? Focus on self-care. It's important. And not only self-care physically, but spiritually as well. Right? Taking courses and trainings and seminars and conferences. This is a part of self-care, and it is crucial in this season. Y'all may not know the value of that right now because you looking at it like, oh, that's just a course. Oh, that's just a conference. Listen here. Y'all ever been to an event, a church service, and you just feel so, like you just feel hyped? And highly motivated and encouraged and empowered? Anyone of y'all ever, like, that happened, like, outside of, like, dealing with your marriage? Y'all ever gone to, like, a coaching or, not a coaching, like a conference or seminar or something like that, and you just feel so empowered? These are the things that you need to do in this season. You gotta keep empowering yourself. Back to when I was at, Dr. Miles Monroe leadership training. Let me tell you something. I was going through the worst season of my life, but during that time, I had a good time. I had a good time. My mind wasn't on what I was going through. My mind was immersed in the teaching. With that said, somebody listen here, make sure y'all are enrolling in my webinar, Fight for Your Marriage Like a Gladiator. Okay, this is going to empower you. This is going to open up your eyes. It's going to be a learning experience. Listen here, nothing that I do, coach, course, it's not for me. It's for you. Okay, and so yeah, y'all make sure to take advantage of these things. Oh my gosh, I've been on there almost an hour. But anyhow, you guys, I hope that this has been an encouragement to you guys. I want you to remember that during this time, you have to overcome fear and build courage. Y'all want to be successful in fighting for your marriage? Y'all got to stop being fearful. You got to stop whining and crying. Oh my God, why this happening to me? Oh, he say this and he said that. You got to stop doing that. That is, is like if your hope was on a meter, right? The more you whine and cry and look at the bad part, your hope meter is just going down and down and down and down and down. And the more hopeless that you're gonna feel, the more fear is going to increase. You're going to be looking at the negative side rather than the positive side. You rather than believing, you're going to be just walking in unbelief, and you don't want that. You want to be, highly motivated. You want to have, be full of hope and faith and believing that, hey, nothing that you're doing is going to be in vain. No time that you listen to, motivational videos like mine, and you come on here and you get information, it's empowering you. Hey, take a course. The course is going to be information that you didn't have before you going in the course. So hey, you just level up a notch. So anyways, you guys, let me stop because I could go on here too long. Listen here, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are on, let me address these all these chats. I said that I was going to come on here and see what you guys talking about. Can you help a brother go through the book? Oh my gosh, people. Infidelity was just the worst experience, but who I became is the best authentic person who I am. Both. Absolutely. Listen here. Y'all know what I said. I said I have enjoyed childbirth. I have had toothache, but nothing helps. Nothing hurts like infidelity. Okay? Nothing. But you know something? The Lord allows us to go through this because, a lot of times we say, oh, I can't take this and I can't take that and I can't handle this and I can't handle that. How many of y'all say y'all can't take this but y'all still alive? I'll wait. Let me see. Any one of y'all who talk about y'all going through this infidelity, I've been going through it 2 years. Some of y'all just start, but 2 years, 3 years, and you still live it. You still wake up every day. Oh, I can't take this and I can't take that, but you still here though. Anyhow, listen to you guys. Any of y'all on TikTok? If y'all on TikTok, go and find me on TikTok, Empowering Wives, okay? Go and find me, Empowering Wives. Follow me on TikTok. I'm going to be going live on there, okay? Yes, I am still alive. I've been going through five years. And I thought I was going to die? Plenty times I thought I was going to die. But look, I still live. All right? So y'all think you're going to die? You ain't going to die. You'll be just fine. Anyhow, thank y'all for joining me today. Make sure y'all like the video when we come off. And remember, in the description bar, I am going to be posting the webinar link and the link to my ebook on prayer. Make sure you guys register. I want to see you not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. Yeah, you always bless me. I'm 5 years in this. Listen here, 5 years. I've been in it 5 years too. Yes, so you are in good company. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all for joining.